High key, this about awkward as all get out. And it may be the reason I'm saying this is my 30th debut, or perhaps it's the inconsistency. Either way, having this all set up and hitting record has my stomach in shambles. Wish I had a law to fix it. I've been reading BL since I was 11 or 12 from back in the day on Wattpad. Overly monitored as a child as far as media I consumed went, there was never really a restriction on books I was reading because I was the only person reading. Sidebar. For this to make more sense, I was only allowed to watch kid gear channels, Nickelodeon, Disney, XD, Cartoon Network, etc. on the weekends under parental controls with DirecTV, and only allowed to listen to non-secular music out loud. But when I got that first gen iPod Touch that dropped in 2007 for Christmas, everything changed. Prolonged self-demise for sure. I thought I was some oddball weirdo. I mean, I actually kind of am. Anyways, it was a secret shameful pleasure I jumped headfirst into. It wasn't until I finally got sucked into, pun intended, anime in late 2022 from Crunchyroll comments that I discovered we had a whole world out here with categories labeled BL, Yaoi, Yuri, etc. I couldn't believe I'd been missing out so badly. I said fanfiction wasn't my thing and I loved eating my words. I also said it was too much to differentiate between manga, manhwa, and danmeis, but within 4 months I was able to distinguish the material with just a glance. Mostly. I'm still learning, so I'm not 100% on every single title yet. All of that to say, the more toxic, the more optic. I haven't actually found a good synonym that rhymes with toxic yet, but the point is I'm colorblind, it's fiction, and I'm an adult. So this is the only comment I'm making about it. However, I am open to explaining why I do like some things. I see the comments on TikTok because we legally read over here that be having the community in shambles to the point where engagement is only discussed with green to orange flags and have arrived at a win-win solution. I adore BL, all of it, but the spectrum isn't for everyone, and I don't want the toxic leaning authors to have to drop their word because of unnecessary hate comments from those that in good faith accidentally stumble upon it. So whether starting out, veteran status, or somewhere in between, I'd hate for angels or demons to lose their joy when having to spend time sifting through numerous tags, comments, without having a clear picture of what kind of ride you're ponying up for and ultimately ending up disappointed, especially when you're in the mood for something specific. So, not to be taken as finality or complete decisiveness, because sometimes I misunderstand intentions, or rather my brain comes up with its own skewed misinterpretations. You recommend it, I'll review it. Then you decide if you'll go forward or not. Let's get started, shall we? I've made a couple of basic note cards to roadmap where I land stories that I've already read. It doesn't mean that these descriptions are exactly all the flag entails. Some stories do cross back and forth. Some elements are present in an unexpected way that may land it on the line of a flag's color, which will be the indecisives, but I'll still try to put it closer to the color I think it is. Now, that all of the house discussion is out of the way, here goes. Green flags are so adorable, grinning big, anxiously waiting on the slow burn to sizzle, and hand holding after 80 plus chapters gets me going. See what I did there? Yellow flags are proceed with a little caution. It's a smaller flicker in the fray, but ultimately no pressure and respect is generally mutual. Orange flags start to tilt the equilibrium. I just don't think you can definitively label some stories as they aren't necessarily red, but sometimes it's for sure too much to be considered yellow. Red flags, well, it's like a bull. Charge straight ahead into the optimal danger zone. Lana! sorry. LOL. The trolling is necessary. Ain't shit sweet for real. And of course, my personal number one that makes red flags green. I just like saying that. They're definitely still red, so I suppose I should say make them look yellowish. The beautiful black flags with art so gorgeous it doesn't matter if the plot dropped a major point from the first few chapters. I do, however, commend all writers, artists, technical teams, marketing groups, etc. Yes, this means my good people from AO3 too, for creating and continuing to create stories that give us each our own reasons to keep coming back for more. So, I won't be participating in the bashing of any creator that takes time out and is brave enough to throw their work into the seas of vicious sharks and slightly poisonous depths of criticism. I have my own personal preferences for works that I'll generally enjoy, and if I can tell it's not my shtick, I'll just drop it. Doesn't mean anything was wrong with it. Debate with somebody else, and you may love it. Review time. I wanted to start with Pink Heart Jam because it's my current top 2, but since I pre-ordered the 3rd book, I've been putting off reading it because I want to savor it for as long as possible. I think it'll be the last one of the series and it makes me really sad, but I am going to ease into this so you're not clutching your pearls off rip. You know, these are manga, maybe. And the first one is Praise Me When I'm a Good Boy by Yodaka Kuroi. I think I'm saying that right. The characters are Izumi and Aki, younger top, older bottom. Aki isn't yandere but has the whining, cute, and bossy disposition. Izumi a bit manipulative, but it works. Uses whoever because he's an insomniac. The summary is, you're so damn cute, it pisses me off. High school teacher Watanabe has a secret. Behind closed doors, he's actually a sub. Enraged. I don't know if I'd say enraged. When his fiancée leaves him because of his nature, Watanabe hooks up with his former student Izumi, who just happens to ooze dumb energy and is also looking for a place to stay. Where better than at his new sub's house, which means Watanabe will need to figure out how to survive around the clock orders. Also, he can be praised like the good boy he's desperately trying to be. So this is the book. Don't know if I can actually show these, so I guess we'll find out. The plot, or what I've gathered, teacher meets former student on a dating app and ends up entangled in the net of having his needs met. Similar components of Omegaverse is the most widely known concept, so kind of something like that as in They're Born That Way, but dom/sub with very light themes. Doesn't get into a physical aspect other than a super spicy smut, and the tension is fantastic. Has small conflict between them, but mostly with how they're viewed in the world. Overall though, it has minimal drama, a bit rocky in their meeting, and has a happy ending. Tags. Dub/subverse, teacher/former student, age gap, timely smut with, I wouldn't necessarily say a plot, but it's cute. Strength, weaknesses, sidebar. Obviously most of the BLs are superficial and it's literally for fun, so this isn't an extensive annoyance with the literary aptitude of content being consumed. Miscommunications don't drag out for more than a few pages. There's spicy tension and delicious smut without ever showing much. No outside anti-gay judgment. Weaknesses. There's not a second volume, although not sure what the story would be about. There's easy miscommunication that didn't really have to happen, but I suppose there should be some conflict, and it's never addressed as to why Aki's parents aren't in the picture anymore. Granted, it's not all that important or relevant either. Opinion conclusion: super cute and fun read, takes no time drawing someone in, and the pace is pretty standard for BLs, but it doesn't rely heavily on the trope of dom/sub, so that's just the way it is. You know what I mean? The target audience and flag, I'd say somewhere between a yellow and maybe glossing the surface of an orange. It's pretty tame to me, but I also read war crimes, so sometimes the tamer stuff can pass as green flags. Sorry in advance. I'd say it's probably for someone looking to get into verse-esque stories, but doesn't want anything too heavy as far as subject matter, looking for a little disconnect, and of course a little giggling and kicking of the feet, plus the art is adorable. The second one is How to Deal When Your Intimidating Neighbor is Actually an Omega by Nikuya Inui. The characters are Kota and Runosuke. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. Barely younger top or the bottom. Kota is a minuscule version of my favorite trope, the worrying, overthinking, catering alpha to his nonchalant in front of others, badass, beat everybody up Omega. The summary: a suspenseful and erotic new Omega-verse manga. A college-age alpha lives next door to a scary-looking hottie whom he assumes is an alpha too. But a shocking encounter will correct that assumption. An irresistible tattooed Omega living next door. What's a version alpha to do? Again, here's the book. Don't know if I can show these, so we're gonna find out soon, right? The plot, or what I've gathered: basically, Kota becomes aware of Runosuke one day as they're leaving their apartments at the same time. As neighbors, Runosuke intimidated Kota, who didn't know he was an Omega, but even finding out leaves him surprised since he's an alpha. They fine. So the plot doesn't really matter much to me, or rather, it's low-key a string of events. Kota does have garbage friends in my opinion, other than the one who genuinely seems to care about him, as he's the only one that can read when he's off. Runosuke basically suffers because of his heats and feels his life is unfairly, of course, dictated by his gender. However, Kota spends most of the time debating whether him and Runosuke are together or not, and discovers he, as a newly ex version, didn't like the idea of just giving into biological desires. He's not necessarily coerced into relations, but his inner monologue doesn't like how everything unraveled. Later, he discovers he's a specialized alpha and only wants Runosuke. The smut is very nice. And they have a happy ending. It was super good smut at the end of the bonus chapters. The tags are alpha omega dynamics. Mention betas like twice. Impreg possible but doesn't happen here. College age, bad boy, good boy, dubious consent, slight jealousy. The strength and weaknesses. The strength, the art is pretty. The main characters are pretty. The plot isn't overly complex. Slight nesting. It's a strength because I love nesting. And the bottom wants to have sex often. Weakness: for Kota to spend most of the time agonizing over his biological desires taking over. He never actually addresses this with Runosuke, who takes charge. Opinion conclusion: we actually never know what they're in school for, considering they're in the same department. Leaves me feeling like their bodies are compatible, but they don't have anything in common for real. Target audience /flag. I would say green, but Kota spends the majority of the story worked up over sex. And while I get he likes it, it also seems like he's emotionally tormented about it. So perhaps it can be a soft yellow for the MC, but overall it's pretty green. Third, Platinum Blood by More Ichigaya. I'm almost positive that I've read other works by this author before, but I can't place which ones. And since I'll be rereading a lot of these, I'll get to come across them again because the smut always hits. Okay? The characters: Al and Kaname, older top, younger bottom. That wasn't my intention. Anyways, Kaname is a bit airheaded, naive, probably because he grew up in the church, but it's mostly adorable without misunderstandings that'll make anyone mad, or at least it should. Al is dutiful, caring, and very attentive. Here's the book. Don't know if we're going to be able to keep this or not. But, Platinum Blood. The vampire... Al, nicknamed Al, was brought up in a church at the side of the kindly priest Kaname. Now all grown up and drop dead handsome, Al has certain needs. The dutiful Kaname generously allows the vampire to drink of his body, and it isn't just his blood that Al's sucking. Still, physical needs aren't the same as emotional desires, and Al finds himself stuck trying to get the oblivious, straight-laced Kaname to realize that he means more to him than an easy meal. I kind of didn't say that verbatim, but that's how my brain took it, so, you know, same difference. See how adorable that is? The plot, or what I gathered. So basically, Al is given to the church orphanage as a child and clings to Kaname, who raises him, but he's a vampire, so he grows at twice the rate of a regular human child and never desires really bodily fluids until he's older. Plot? What plot? I mean, there's some stuff that happens, but it's not overly dramatic, minor miscommunication that in no way separates them, and that's what is crazy good. I love the way it's displayed in this respect. I wouldn't even say there's a plot twist, just general vampire, half human, and human relationship with the priest that takes after him. No homophobia, and the other nuns are high-key rooting for the relationship on the sidelines. They're Fujoshis. It's generally consensual between the two, as Al doesn't really want Kaname's blood, but his bodily fluids. And it has a happy ending. I just don't like it. Because when it comes to you're my only one tropes, being together forever is the only solution. But there's a somewhat fine one. There is a minor, like super small peek into a secondary couple. This age gap would definitely make y'all grab pitchforks and torches. But I don't really mind, and we never see anything past the introductions. Tax. Blood play. I like this a lot more than is probably reasonable. Religious themes, older bottom, younger top, obviously fantasy. The strengths, weaknesses. It's a cute story. It's a cute, quick story that grazes the human-vampire relationship in doses. They communicate regularly, so even if there is something briefly misunderstood, it's resolved in like a page, really a couple of panels. There isn't really a thing that counteracts against the story as long as your brain is just looking for something short, sweet, and fun. Opinion, conclusion. I like it, of course. It's simple, and if I needed a quick little something for smut mostly, or my favorite tags, I DK how I'm organizing that just yet, or blood play. Target audience flat, it gives a green flag. Some warning may be that there's incest theme, kind of since it's adoption, but it wasn't like anything was a secret or that Kaname ever really felt agony over after the first few panels in the very beginning. Okay, that's all for now. Don't want to make these super long because that'll be too much editing for me. But thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. See you later.